There she is. Let me make sure I can hear you.
Okay, wait. I couldn't hear you first.
There you are. Now I can hear you.
And now we're back. Now we're in.
Now we're back. And now you're shining. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. I mean, I feel like I've seen you for the past couple of years now, just because I've been following your journey. But now it's just like, oh man, now I'm actually get to talk to you too.
I know, JG. I can't believe we're like finally face to face.
Yes,
we're
that's
back.
right. I was reminiscing too on one of our last in-person conversations. First, we were on the balcony when you gave me the news that you were moving on. And then at the karaoke party, like one of our biggest karaoke parties, Mario's here, by the way, so he can hear our
Hey, Mario.
our karaoke party. It was just like, it was almost turned into like a going away celebration for you too.
Oh my gosh, that would have been in 2017.
Yeah.
It was wild, like literally about a decade ago.
It doesn't feel like it when we start chatting. Like, no, that was just a couple of weeks ago, right?
No, truly, I know. Like when we chatted last week, like, I was like, oh yeah, like just picking up the phone and chatting. Like we haven't lost any time.
It's like, so where did we leave off? Those are the happy accidents of time not existing. So, but yeah, this is going to be great though, because I just felt like, like we were talking about, on the call, like you're the perfect person to talk to our community about this, because in a way it's your community. You're part of this. You can't shake it or not, because you started off in the Spiceworks community, right? As on the marketing side of the house, community brand rep. So you were in the trenches with all the IT pros.
Yep, literally right in it. Like, and I was one of like the OG community brand reps. Like, I think the program had just gotten launched. Which do they still have community brand reps?
They do, just not like it was before. It's kind of in different shapes with different names, but we definitely still have, our spicy friends doing the heavy lifting for some of the busy vendors.
Okay.
Yeah, so shout out for Tamara, who's currently on maternity leave, that she's still doing some of that heavy lifting as well.
Yeah, wow. Shout out Tamara.
Yeah, but you set a high bar for sure, because everybody loved seeing your smiling face, and it just made the delivery a lot better knowing it was coming from you, because everybody, when they got to know you at Spice World and in the community, just like your great personality, just help them serve up our vendor friends who don't have the same type of delivery that you have.
Well, I think anytime, that was the cool thing too, that like we had Spice World and like the opportunity for everybody to come together in person.
Yeah.
Because obviously it's a completely different, I guess, landscape, if you will, when we're all like engaging online, and then to finally get in person and be like, oh my gosh, you're who I've been like talking about IT chips with and like whatever, like computer stuff all the time. Like I've been trying to help with my AMD or whatever it was.
And it worked so well. And then the next time you talk to them after you saw them in person, it just like it leveled up the conversation. It instantly had the digital street cred of just like, oh, okay, now we're really talking.
Yep. Well, and too, even that like totally ties into nervous system work as well.
Yes.
Because, it's all about like giving your nervous system that like familiarity. And so that's why, like, when you meet somebody again a second time, you're like, oh, wait, you're familiar. I know that, like, you're safe. Like, I feel more comfortable talking with you. Like, we can better connect, so.
Wow, that's right. Crazy.
Yeah,
Again, and thinking about that, and you might know that's like, I was reading a book, and it was just talking about all the learned fears and phobias versus the ones that you're born with, like, right, the primal ones. And they had it boiled down to basically like we have a primal fear of falling, right, and a primal fear of the unknown, like the darkness of being unsure. And that it's great that you put that, it just clicked to me. It's like, oh yeah, the fear of unknown gets wiped out when you see each other in person. And now all of a sudden it's just like, you're a trusted source. I can come outside the cave and not worry that I'm going to get, bit by something.
Yep, completely.
Yeah. And it's great. Like, again, I've been following your journey, but for anyone who hasn't followed the journey of what we call now Well by Mel, is that right?
Yeah.
Well by Mel, I want you to just kind of fill in, the listeners right now of like what you've been doing for the past couple of years, because to me, it was, I told you when I texted you, it's like, it was brave. It's something that a lot of people talk about doing, want to do. You actually did it, and we got to go along with that journey. So tell us a little bit about it.
Well, okay, yeah, I feel like the last year and a half in particular has most definitely been a journey. And to give like a little bit of context too. So, I mean, I was with Spiceworks for 5 years, long time. And then I left because I moved back to California. And so then I went and worked for a different corporate company. I was with them for about like 4 years. And then, felt like it wasn't really me authentically. And so then I even left that job and went and pursued a health coaching certification. Like deep at my core, I've just always been very passionate about health and wellness. And I feel like over the last year, that passion has really turned more into like around true healing. So in 2024, let's see, October 2024, I bought a one-way ticket to Bali. And and it was kind of like like an unexplainable calling that I had to go there. I was like, I've never been, I don't know anybody in Bali, but I feel like I need to go. And at that point, like in 2024 was a rough year for me. I had a ton of health issues going on. I actually was dealing with like a lot of anxiety. I was dealing with depression, something I've never dealt with before. And I was very much like, I have to change something. And so I left and went and did my yoga teacher training and did like a 3-week program in Bali. And that was the first time that I felt like I was able to like slow down and like breathe and like actually connect to my body. I think that like being in the corporate world and living in LA, it was very much being on like the hamster wheel of life.
Oh yeah.
I think a lot of people can relate to. Especially working like any 9-to-5 job, like you're just kind of, a lot of life becomes like wake up, go to work, maybe go to the gym, work out, repeat, and like, just feeling off. So I went and did the yoga teacher training, and it was during that time that I felt even deeper, like, okay, something is like still very off in my body.
You got to another layer.
Yeah. It like finally like gave me that time to be like, ooh, something is deeper going on. And so that led me down the whole path that I'm on now and what we'll, dive into of nervous system regulation and of somatic work. So after that training, I went and did another like somatic training. Somatic means the living body. So we're referring to like everything going on in the body.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, then I like just kind of really dove in deep, wanting to find out everything I could about nervous system regulation and about like what's actually going on in the body and what is, going on between the connection between mind, body, and even like our gut. Like, there's so much about how everything's all interconnected and the mind and body are communicating to each other all day, every day. So I dove in deep to all of that work, and finally, like things within my own health that I had been dealing with for a really long time started to shift. And it like, not to be dramatic, but it changed my life.
Yeah, no, and if following the journey, I saw that Like I saw that in you because again, we bonded many times in the kitchen over what green sludge are we drinking today, right? Because we always had like that health feel. We were always kind of aware of our health, but you found a
Mhm.
way to just like not just talking about like the physical part of it, but like the mental part of it and the emotional part of that and the symbionts that all of those systems have. And you and I got to enjoy it because you're like, how do we talk about the nervous system to IT professionals? It's like, Melanie, you're really just talking about how a circuit board works, right? The body is like the circuit board. The nervous system works on electricity, right? We have
Yeah.
that running through there. And if there's one circuit off that's causing a short here, it can affect the board. It can cause your drive not to work. And we were just like, you and I both had like that aha moment at the same time. Like, whoa, we can totally demystify the nervous system for IT professionals because they're natural troubleshooters, but also, and I thought it would be perfect for them because, like I told you, I was like, Melanie, this is a job where everybody's presenting us with problems. They're not presenting us with solutions. They're presenting us with problems. And as you know, when in life, if you're presented a problem, it's fight or flight. And to be in that system all the time. That's why the Spiceworks community is all about the laugh because we try to bring that down because we know the rest of our part of our lives are fight or flight. And I thought, wow, Mel, this is perfect to share with our audience.
Totally. Yeah, I mean, the human body and the nervous system, of course, they're one, but like it is the most intelligent computer that you will ever encounter.
Yes.
And it is far more intelligent than any like AI that you will be working with, like blows ChatGPT out of the water. Um, but yeah, when one starts to learn about how the nervous system impacts everything, it's truly mind blowing. And I mean, it directly influences every system in the body,
Yeah.
which we have 11 different systems, reproductive, circulatory, digestive, endocrine. So like, we're talking your gut, your hormones, your breathing, your fertility for women and men. But if your nervous system is dysregulated and out of balance, then the body, the computer, is not going to be functioning properly.
Yeah.
And it's because, the number one priority for our nervous system and for our body and our brain is survival. Like at the end of the day, it just wants to keep us alive.
Right.
And so it'll do anything to keep us surviving. And when we are living in a constant state of survival, like getting hit with, one activation or one like stimulus after the other, our nervous system will remain in that state. And that is when everything else in the body, all of the other organs, all of the other functions are going to begin operating at like a suboptimal level. And you can kind of think about and for like a bit of context too, I'm talking about the autonomic nervous system,
Okay.
Which really is, how we respond to life. It's like our automatic response. It's very, very complex, very beautiful with how it operates. But you can kind of think of it as like a special ops team, like working all the time, always in the background. And if you are living in survival, it'll be like, okay, lungs, we got to take like 20% of your energy. Kidneys, we need 10%.
Oh, wow.
Digestion, we got to have you working at like 50%. Like we need to pull energy from other parts of the body in order to keep Jeff alive. Like we need him working. And, but with it working, so with it like functioning in that way, that's why people will have sleep issues. That's where the gut problems come in. That's where the anxiety comes in. When we continue to operate from this like state of survival and overwhelm, yeah, the body just like is slowly beginning to shut down.
That totally makes sense. Like now you just like to break it down for the IT folks, right? We just opened up the task manager and we can see task manager allocating certain CPU, a certain number of memory, how much drive space you have, and you can actually watch in task manager moving stuff around. You just basically said that's how the body is doing it well, except now it's pulling from organs. Which could just be kind of be terrifying. Then you wonder why, like, oh, my stomach hurts, or just like when stress can make stomach hurt or stress headache, right? Even though nothing directly happened to your head. And another thing I kind of wanted to ask when you're talking about it, like the body is so honest with you. And with a high stress job like IT, the body in a way can't tell the difference between real life stress or you going over the stress in the shower by yourself, which is basically at that point imaginary stress, right? It doesn't really tell the difference, does it? When you're like all of a sudden now you're still like, uh-oh, it's kind of opening up those fight or flight patterns because you're thinking about it.
Yeah, yes. Okay, I'm really glad you brought that up because so both your body and your mind do not know the difference between present day or past.
Past arguments.
Yeah. And so if we're like, replaying that argument, okay, maybe like that interaction that didn't feel good that you got in with your boss. And if you're replaying it over and over, your mind, body, nervous system are all going to think, oh, we're currently there. And that's currently happening right now.
Yeah.
And all of that is every thought that we have is communicating to every cell, tissue, muscle in the body. And so that's why, like the notion of positive thinking and gratitude is actually very scientifically proven and very effective. Because positive thinking is influencing everything in the body. It's influencing your entire state of being. And to even play off of that a bit more, so everything begins with the body. 80% of information goes from body to brain. And so when we are living in survival and when there's a lot of stress and dysregulation happening in the body, inevitably our mindset is probably not going to be that great. We're having a lot of like dysregulation going on here. It's going to be fed up to the brain. And it's also feeding, we have like our vagus nerve, which is, the primary nerve of the parasympathetic nervous system, rest and digest. But that connects our gut and brain. And so, there's a reason why, like, if you're kind of in this negative, stressful feedback loop, like you'll feel like that pit in your stomach, or maybe you're not like digesting food, or maybe you get like the stomach ache. But yeah, when we continue to ruminate and replay a lot of that, it's only going to just amplify all of the distress.
And I'm glad you brought that up. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Well, just one other thing to add.
Yes.
I know it's
a lot.
So a lot and like very complex. But then when you also dive into it, like you're like, oh, like, I relate to it. I get it. We're all human. Like we've been there. But like going back to the example of maybe having like a bad interaction with your boss, that is going to have energy impact the body. And, you think of it like, let's say your boss yelled at you. Hopefully that wouldn't happen, but you never know when people get really angry.
When they're stressed, yeah.
Yeah, when they are in like that dysregulation, anger is a really big side effect of that. But if they're yelling at you, you can feel like how your body will like contract or like tense up. Like we're like, ooh, that doesn't feel good. It was energy that like came into the body. And so when we haven't done anything to mobilize and discharge that energy, it's just like building up more and more. And it's like putting our nervous system over capacity.
Yeah,
And then
that's
like
why
we can't really handle more.
that's why the circuit boards have capacitors, right? And
Yeah.
to
Oh,
discharge just
okay.
how it works in discharging this. And I'm glad you're sorry because I think there's been a misconception for many years that I think it's starting to close. Is this is almost like when you talk about like the power of positive thinking, it's almost like I don't know the better term, but like foo-foo, or there's really nothing to that. But I like that it's finally like science is catching up to that to the point where they realize that there's brain cells in every single one of our cells. And one of them, and I was telling you that I was reading about from the Heart Math Institute, that our heart actually has more brain cells in it than our brain. So when you said it goes from your brain gets the information second, where I think a misconception is that everybody thinks it gets it first, processes it and spreads it out. But like you have other organs that are absorbing this information and then sending it up. That's crazy. And just like, again, now we're talking about like the ultimate Wi-Fi signal. Like the heart actually has a bigger magnetic field than the brain to the point where the measure, we can't measure how far it's going out. So now you're talking about Wi-Fi signals and SSIDs that are actually crossing over each other. So now my energy field crossing with your energy field because we're in that same thought, we're in that same Wi-Fi zone. Like, man, do we need a Faraday cage for our hearts so no other signals can come in here and interfere with it? But I love hearing that. And because I also heard something that a lot of people like when it comes to like doctors or wellness coaches, like if anybody's not asking you what your input is, then don't take their opinion into value in anything, because they have to know what's coming in before they know what's causing this. And now we're not even talking about what you eat, right? Because what you eat affects your health, but we didn't think about like what you're saying, what you hear affects your health, what you see is also affecting your health. It's not just, oh, I ate too many burgers, I ate some pizza, or like, no, it's just like, no, I saw something, I heard something that triggered a memory, and now it's input output, and we all know in IT, garbage in, garbage out, right? And that's what we're feeling when you say that. So what you're saying is, to me, it's really resonating with me as an IT professional and a human being.
Mm-hmm. Oh, no. And like, right. Like at the end of the day, like everything we're talking about, we're all human. Like we've all felt it. We can all relate to everything. Like, we get that reaction in our gut, in our stomach, in our heart. Like everything is, yeah, the body is receiving it all. And then it goes to the brain to actually like contextualize it. And I love you bringing up the analogy of like the Wi-Fi and like everything like crossing over. But it kind of reminds me too of, well, we are all constantly regulating each other, whether like co-regulating and like good regulation or dysregulation. Like you and I right now, even though we are not physically together, we are regulating one another. Like our energies and our nervous system are working with one another. And, we can all we've all been around somebody who you can feel their energy when they walk into a room. And or you might be talking with them and they're, well, okay, let's give an example.
Yeah, let's dig in.
I've been talking in one way, but what if I was all right, here we go. What if I was Jeff, oh my God, I have to tell you everything about this. We have to talk about everything about the body and the mind and in the heart and the gut. And oh my God, we have to talk all day about it. And I can't wait to tell you everything about
it. Yeah, you would feel that, right? You'd be your hair is blown back. You're like, oh no.
You're like, whoa. So in that energy is what we would call sympathetic, according to polyvagal theory, which we could get into. But that's more of that I'm even having a come down after that energy, but that's more of the, the anxiety, a lot of energy, a lot of activation. Or I could be talking with you and be like, hey, Jeff, yeah, today's been okay. I've been pretty tired and maybe gonna go get a sandwich later, maybe.
Yeah, I feel that. Just by you saying that, I felt that. Just like,
You're gonna feel that too.
yeah, 100%.
And that state, like a bit more like numb and disconnected, a bit more gloomy, dull. That is what we call being in your dorsal state. And it's actually when you've been like so activated that you continue to go down what's called the autonomic ladder, and you fall even further into dysregulation because your nervous system is now trying to protect you by just shutting down. So for a lot of people who do maybe associate more with those like low energy, not really the energy for life, not the energy to do much, that could be an indicator that they're operating from a state called dorsal. But to like kind of tie it back into how we're constantly like feeding off of one another. Yeah, like, you know, you can immediately feed off of that energy. And so you're going to inevitably be impacted by the state of my own nervous system. But if you are regulated and if you have grown your own capacity, then you'll be able to like bounce back. And my energy wouldn't impact you. But if you might have like a smaller window of tolerance and not as much capacity, my like high activation, high anxiety could really impact you. And so it's like very important to be aware of how we feel around different people, around different environments, and how we're responding to everything coming at us.
I think these days they call it the vibe, right? And I think we're all very familiar with that, right? We're around people. It's just like, man, that person always really brings me down. Or this person, like, wow, I just feel really good around this person. We don't even realize that we're almost regulating our systems, connecting. And it's not just humans, which makes it feel to me like that even puts more of the science behind it. Are you familiar with the dog King Charles?
I don't know if I am actually.
You're going to have to watch the viral dog, that King Charles, where this dog, it's in a shared park and he's the boss. So there's this video of these two dogs fighting. King Charles comes out. He comes walking by. There's a dog that's 10x bigger than him and he bows down. And then every direction that the dog King Charles looks, they like bow down, and he literally went over just by being there, and the dogs dispersed. And then the one dog that was like causing the fight, and just King Charles just like put his paw on him, and the dog just kind of went down. It was the most amazing. Definitely Google this, that this dog pretty much is doing exactly what you said. He wasn't, and here's the thing about King Charles, he wasn't barking. King Charles just came out and just like put his energy stamp everywhere, and everybody knew, okay, he's regulated. And he's the most respected alpha dog that's in the yard. And thinking about like, if this is how the canine world works, and we've seen it with felines and we've seen it in nature, we're not immune to that, right? Just because we're chattering apes, for lack of a better term, doesn't mean we're not also part of this ecosystem that has energy exchange like that. Of just like, I heard it in my pro wrestling days, they always told you, never worry about that wrestler that's talking a lot, saying I can do this and I can do that. Always watch that guy who's sitting in the corner, very nice, very confidently. Do not mess with him. And you can look at this person and you realize they're right. They are the King Charles. They're not worried about it. King Charles did not try to prove anything. He just controlled his yard by, like you said, he had balanced his system enough where nothing coming to him, he might as well have been Teflon, Charles. It all just bounced off.
Calm, cool, and collected.
He was very calm. I can't wait till you
Yeah.
tell me when you see this video and just
Oh,
like, whoa, King Charles is exactly who we should all aspire to be. He wasn't violent, he wasn't yelling, but he controlled his yard.
okay, I can't wait to watch King Charles. I can't wait to watch all the footage.
But let's jump a little bit into it, Mel. Just like I kind of want to just like now we kind of got into like what's happening. And one thing that got my attention when I was going through your Instagram account, Well By Mel, is you were giving a lot of tips on how to manage this stuff, right? Like now we know what the problem is, right? We did the trouble as IT professionals, we did the troubleshooting. Now what are the tips that we can kind of give to help manage these issues that we may or may not be dealing with?
Definitely. Well, so there are a lot of different ways that you can regulate your nervous system. I feel like, on social media, there's a lot of talk around like just, kind of like go out in nature, drink warm tea,
Touch
take a warm
grass.
bath. And like, look, those are all great. I highly recommend going out and putting your feet into the earth because you actually are like absorbing the electrons of the earth and it's very calming. But I love to share like very like proven tools. They're what that will I'll share with y'all today. They're what like
Yes.
completely reshaped my own nervous system and have reshaped the clients that I work with. Okay, one, it actually ties into animals and that like primal instinct. So one is somatic shaking. And when you think about animals out in the wild or even your dog, you watch them shake all day long.
Yeah.
Or even if you think about like a gazelle that was literally running for its life from a lion and got away, then you would watch it. Like for anyone who maybe has been to Africa, you'll watch it shake off. You watch it shake that
Shake
energy
it
off,
off.
literally shake it off. And then it returns to normal and keeps going on about the day. So shaking, literally like standing up and like shaking the body and doing it starting from your feet, like letting like your heels go up and down and doing full shake. That's a really good way to discharge a lot of the energy that has been built up into the body. I recommend doing that for like 1 to 2 minutes. Set a timer on your phone because a minute of shaking can feel longer than you would think, but like do it. And this will be good for literally anyone who might be feeling more anxious or feeling more shut down.
Is this
Again,
literally where the term shake it off was born? Because
literally
I was
that's,
today
yeah.
years old when I learned that is where the term just shake it off came from.
Yep, I'm like that's where it came from. And I think too there's even like not only somatic shaking, but then when you like hit your finger, we do that instinctually. We're like communicating, what is it? The communication between the body and the brain is not as amplified. Like we can literally shake it off and we don't feel as much of that pain anymore. But yeah, because pretty much like anyone who has dealt with, the anxiety or the depression or feeling unlike themselves, there's just like too much energy in the body and we're just over capacity.
Yeah.
So shaking is really, really good.
I love, again, you're bringing the IT part of me of just like hard drives overcapacity, CPUs spiking. It's all energy too, and it's all the same exact thing that like my CPU's really running hot. So then what happens? You start feeling heat, other parts start failing. That's great. And then you do the shake it off trick. Like my dentist does a trick that it's the first dentist I ever knew. Like if you have to get a needle in one spot, he starts tapping you on the other side as he's doing it. And it's almost like my body can't figure out where to focus and it kind of disperses the extreme anxiety or pain of thinking about that because he's tapping somewhere else as he's doing that. And I'm like, oh, wow, what a cool trick. I was like, you're like a magician.
Okay, well, perfect segue. Tapping is another really good
We
one.
did not plan
There
that, by
we
the way.
go.
We did not plan that.
Perfectly planned. Well, okay, there is a like 2 minute tapping practice that I love to do and that I share with all of my clients. Should we do it?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's do it.
Okay.
Let's do
Okay,
it.
let's do it.
I'm ready.
All right. Okay, so we're going to begin on the outer edge of the palm. And for anybody who is listening and not watching, I'll guide it through with my voice so you can do it from wherever. And you can pick whatever palm feels good. We're just gently tapping on that outer edge of the palm.
Oh, wow, that does feel nice.
And then we're going to move in between the ring finger and the pinky finger. So, and on like the outer
Oh, the
edge
outer edge
of
there.
the hand. Yeah, perfect. Yeah, right there.
Right.
And as you're tapping, I'll invite you to just start tuning into the breath, tuning into any sound you hear tapping on this part of the body. And then we're going to move to tapping along the temples. And just continuing to tune in to anything you might feel.
It almost feels like a heartbeat.
You can hear that, like, feel that, like, kind of pitter patter.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we're going to move down to tapping along the cheekbones. And continuing to connect to your breath here. And then we'll move down to the smile lines, right on the edges of the mouth. And again, tuning in to how it feels tapping on this part of the face. Then we're going to move to tapping right above the lips. And just continuing to let the breath slow down. And finally, we're going to tap right below the collarbone.
Now that's really heartbeat.
Maybe tuning into like the drumming sound of like
Yeah.
tapping here. And actually, where we're tapping right below the collarbone, it's actually an energetic channel to your kidneys and your adrenals. So we're actually helping like balance stress in the body. And everywhere we've been tapping, they're all different meridian points. So they're all like helping balance energy in the body.
Which are
And then,
critical
all right.
parts of the circuit board, right?
Yep, exactly. And then when you're ready, just go ahead and put your palms on your thighs. And we're just going to take a minute to breathe here. Maybe shut down the eyes. And just allow yourself to rest and notice any of the shifts in your body. And you're ready, whenever you're ready, opening back up the eyes. How do you feel?
It's interesting when that happened, it reminded me to I have an old wrestling injury from my knee. And when he said that, my body like instinctively felt it to like straighten, and then it like dispersed the pain of like when I keep it when I'm not in the moment. I curl my leg sometimes when I'm really in the zone, and then I was like, oh, my knee hurts. And when I was doing that, all of a sudden I just felt my leg automatically just straighten up. Like, don't do that anymore. But I didn't consciously do it. I felt like my leg just moved.
Okay, interesting.
Physical trauma of parts of the body that I put myself through, not mental trauma, but still trauma nonetheless, right?
Well, okay, that actually brings up a good point because the more that so when we do begin to regulate and come more into the body, because, when we're dysregulated, we're not in the body, we're only like in our mind. And oftentimes we're like overthinking everything. And you think about like when you're running from a tiger, like you have to be like full blown running. You're not thinking about anything going on. You're not thinking, be like, oh, like my knee hurts. Like you are like running for your life. You are in survival. So when we begin to come into regulation, we're going to feel more in the body. And you can be like, oh, hold on, I have shoulder pain that I've never really felt before because you never like that feeling like was never available. And so not even like with it can be either like a physical feeling, or for a lot of people too, the more that you do this kind of work, you can feel more emotions that have once been unavailable because you have been in that survival mode for a very long time. And that's where, when you're doing a lot of this work, you become more present and you become more like present and alive to the world around you. And you're like, oh my gosh, I'm like looking at a beautiful sunrise and not thinking about my grocery list. Like I'm actually here and in the moment,
And that totally makes sense. It's funny you say that. I don't know if I ever told you this when I retired from pro wrestling. I had broke my arm pretty bad, and I continued to wrestle for 3 weeks with a broken arm and also work on a moving truck. And I just kept taping it and on it because I never took the time. I felt like I didn't have time. Like back then, you're just like, if you didn't work, you didn't get paid. So I had to continue to wrestle and without thinking about it. And the doctor's like, well, this is where when I finally went to the doctor because the pain just became unbearable, he's like, well, this is where you broke it. And then from this part of the break to this part is how long it took you to get to me to tell you that it was broken, because I didn't even take the time to be present and take care of my arm. I was able to continue to do a lot of stuff with a broken arm that you would think if your arm was broken, you couldn't do this. Like, I'm not going to lift up a 275-pound guy and throw it, or carry a piano down the stairs with a broken arm, because I was just like you said, your body will do whatever it can to keep you going. And I put myself in that survival mode where if I would have took care of it, it would have all of a sudden, I was okay, you can't do this. Why? What are you doing? Like, adrenaline is amazing and it can get you to outrun that lion, but you're not supposed to live in that adrenalized state forever, or else you're basically running on hot the entire time, right?
Totally. Yeah. And you bring up a good point too, because a ton of people, myself included, are very like high functioning. And you can have all of that like adrenaline and cortisol in your body, like constantly being activated and generated, but like you're like still going. But when you're, like you mentioned, like when you are in that state for too long, that's when the body begins shutting down and you're like, okay, I'm high functioning. I'm able to go wrestle and go like throw people everywhere, but I'm exhausted.
Oh,
but
terrible.
I need, but I need 3 cups of coffee. I go to bed and I'm wired, but tired, or I, have any kind of like chronic illness. Like, for me, I was very high functioning, and I was, you knew my diet that I that I ate. Like I was eating like very well, eating organic, going to the gym, working out all the time, living like a very healthy lifestyle, but living as a high functioning woman in survival. And over time, I had anxiety. I had horrible sleep issues. I was like addicted to melatonin and it would never even work. Like I was just tired all the time, would lay awake in bed. Tons of like rashes, different chronic illness, gut issues, hormone problems, like you name it. And it was because of like continuing to avoid addressing like the root cause of what was going on and what was going on with my nervous system, and not really avoiding it, but I didn't have the knowledge like I do now.
Or we would even look at it, we don't have the time. Like I can tell you, like our audience, our Spice Heads, IT professionals can wear a shirt that says wired and tired. That's our lives, right? Because it's just like it used, since the world changed and a lot of us work from home, which means we're basically on call all the time. Where before it was just like you had the ability to leave the office at the office and then you go home. A lot of us don't have that anymore. Now you're on call all the time, which means now you're a little bit more into that firefighter mode of high stress, like waiting for that Slack noise that's going to trigger you, or that text that you're going to get to say this is down. We get that, our audience, we get that all the time, right? So we have to be that high functioning, high stress job. But if we take these moments like you're doing, and maybe we can help to start regulate, which I wanted to get a little bit more into some of the more tips you had, because you had great tips. Like, what can you tell us around like the right stuff to eat or the right things we can do to help us get into a good sleep mode? For like our computers need to go in sleep mode. Let's shut down some of these things so we can get a proper good night's sleep.
Yeah, definitely. Well, and I'll say too that a lot of the tools that I'm sharing, they only take like 2 minutes. They're 2 minutes each. Like they're very quick. The tapping that took 2 minutes. Humming is another really good one. And even if you want to, you can like combine two. You could hum and you can sway back and forth. Swaying is a really simple and like, again, kind of primal tool. We were all swayed and rocked back and forth as a baby.
Oh my goodness. I just didn't put two and two together. That's why we were being rocked. Wow.
Like we like innately know to do that, and so that like you can kind of visualize being like a sea kelp in the ocean. Like it's a very gentle, like organic back and forth. And humming while doing that. Humming is going to activate that vagus nerve and help you get more into that rest and digest. So those 3 tools, highly recommend.
It's funny you say that too. A lot of these, what you're saying, it just hit me. A lot of people do that instinctively and didn't know it. Like when you said, you ever notice when people sit down and sometimes they'll just like to get prepared, they'll like the top of their legs, or like you said, people like just walking down the street and humming, or just like, I think we maybe deep down in our system, if we click help, we know that was already kind of in us, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm. Oh, we already know everything. We like are brilliant, but we just like we forget it. And we get so like overwhelmed by the stimulus of life that we get like too in our head and we forget like how to instinctively act and heal. And the body is so brilliant. The body knows how to heal. All we have to do is like slow down enough to actually pay attention. And being able to, do things like the humming or the tapping, or even another tool, it's called orienting. All you do, and great to do out in nature, but if you can't get it out into nature, you can do it literally wherever. Literally just looking around the room very gently, looking from left to right, and maybe even naming different colors that you are looking at and taking a moment to connect with that color. So, for example, to be like, okay, I'm looking at a seafoam green, I'm looking at a magenta, and allowing yourself to really like come into that present moment, to allow yourself to like use all of your 5 different senses and be here now, to ground into the moment.
So anybody who's ever used Waze or any kind of GPS in the car, you're literally just saying, this is how you tap to bring your screen back to north.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. Like, yeah, we already know it. Yeah, we just have to get back to that like north star that we all have.
Just a tap, right? Our maps sometimes get spun around. We don't know where we're going. We were zooming here.
Right.
We were lost here. Tap, look around, and watch everything point back in the right direction.
Totally recenter, and you're good. Even, right now, connecting to the seat beneath you, like feeling maybe it's a cushion. Maybe you can feel your feet planted onto the floor. Just allowing yourself to ground and come back to center in that moment.
That's for all you diehard fans out there. That's how he recentered when he took off his shoes and he curled his toes on the carpet.
I've never seen Die Hard.
Oh, sounds like you have plans for this Christmas because it's a holiday movie.
Yeah. Okay, a couple of other things that I'll mention that I feel like will hopefully resonate with a lot of our IT pros. Eating a protein-rich breakfast before any coffee is huge.
Yeah, please explain more of that to me, because I saw you did a nice video on that, and I wanted you to definitely dig a little deeper into that of the first input of the day.
Yeah. So, I mean, protein just plays a huge role in like our building blocks and making sure that our whole body feels nourished and taken care of. And so being able to give your body that protein first thing in the morning, your body is literally interpreting it as, okay, we're nourished, we're safe, we're taken care of. And it's also going to help your brain function a lot better too, which we all need.
I gotta pop quiz you really quick. You remember the Spiceworks community's favorite protein, don't you? First thing of the day, gotta have your bacon.
The bacon?
Yes.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh. How could I forget?
That counts. That counts as your protein for the day.
Okay, well, I will add to that. How about eggs and bacon?
Yes.
Because bacon is good, but it can get a little fatty, and it might not be like the healthiest protein form of protein. Not that it's bad,
right.
But you definitely want to be like, you don't want to be having too much. You don't want to be having like a fatty protein. Focusing on a whole foods diet, eliminating processed foods is really going to help keep balance in the body. Eggs, I love because you're getting that choline that like really helps keep your brain a bit more sharp as well. But trying to aim for about like 25 grams of protein in the morning.
Okay.
And then having your coffee. And maybe even waiting. I know that this one could sound a lot, but like even maybe waiting like an hour after you eat.
Sean, hold your ears.
Or waiting like an hour after you wake up. Just allowing the body and the brain to kind of like come to on its own and not just immediately feeding it that caffeine right away. But if you could do anything, food before caffeine, protein before caffeine. That's going to make a huge difference.
I know there's a lot of cultures, and I don't know if you told me this or some of that a lot of times. And I think another one that we've innately always done is a lot of people wake up and the first thing they do is they need a glass of water because they're thirsty. But I've heard and read some spots that like the water is almost used to like prepare your system, kind of like lubing the pipes of just like, let's get ready for all the input that's about to happen. And then they wait like 30 minutes and then they start.
Yeah. Well, I mean, think you've been in bed and like laying like unconscious for like 8 hours or, however long, but hopefully 8 hours. But you've been laying there like your body needs to rehydrate.
Right.
I love to do, and one that again scientifically proven, warm water can really like help prepare for digestion.
Okay.
So for anybody who might have digestive issues, starting with like a warm cup of water to like prepare the body and to prepare for food, maybe taking a probiotic or maybe taking a digestive enzyme, like 15 to 20 minutes before you eat, and then having that and then having your meal. And I'll add to a really good one is not checking your phone right away.
Oh,
So, so allowing, I know many of us have dealt with that. But if you can wait like 30 minutes and not look at your phone, that will, oh my gosh, it'll make a huge impact on your well-being. Because the moment that you are waking up immediately, checking your phone, you are getting a huge hit of cortisol, the natural stress hormone in the body.
yeah.
That you're just kind of like setting up your day for not a great one. If you're like immediately starting with work emails or text or social media or whatever it might be. So if you can like, and even, all the clients that I work with, I'm like, okay, how about we start with 15 minutes? Try that out. And, instead put your phone away, brush your teeth, go get morning sunlight, like go out on your balcony or outside your front door, just look into the daylight, which will also like help communicate to your body, okay, it's time to wake up, and it will help with your circadian rhythm. It'll help you get a deeper night's sleep. Looking out that morning sunlight, maybe doing a regulation tool, maybe shaking, waking the body up, letting some of that energy go, having a warm glass of water. Every morning I'll wake up, I do a regulation tool. I like to do a meditation in the morning. I like to do some breathing. Always like a longer exhale than the inhale is going to help regulate and help bring more calm. But yeah, avoid checking that phone. It is definitely adding more stress to the body and like right when you wake up.
I got to tell you, man, when you said that, I to compare how it feels like the first time I'm getting ready to grab my phone is that scene in Jurassic Park when they're looking around in the woods, and when I look at my phone, I get the feeling right before the trees part and the raptor's right there. That's the feeling I get. I'm like, clever girl. And then I unlock the phone and then I see everything that's been happening since the last time I look at it, because I'm guilty on both ends. I'll admit it. I'm guilty on both ends, looking at the screen right until it's time to go to bed, and then looking at the screen right when I wake up. I bookend that, not always what's best for my health.
Well, and okay, how's your sleep? Like, how's your sleep quality?
Yeah, and it's funny, we got all these devices now that'll tell us how good the quality is, and I do notice a difference on how much more I wake up if I'm like, oh, let me just watch this one last episode or and then I go right to bed. I notice I definitely wake up more than when I happen to fall asleep before I even get to the device. When you go, wow, your body's like, that was really good sleep.
Yep, yep, totally. Oh, and like, and like everyone, we're all human. Like we have that really good TV show. We're like, oh my gosh, one more episode. Like I need to watch one more. But then you can tell like the morning after you're a bit more groggy, like you're not feeling good.
Yeah, streaming
But
hungover by streaming.
oh yeah. And then only like, needing more coffee and needing more like stimulation to keep us awake and functioning throughout the day. And then, nighttime comes and we're like feeling that wired but tired all over again.
Oh man.
It really keeps us like in that vicious cycle. So yeah, I really aim to put the phone away like 1 hour before bed and not look at anything. And even like turn the lights down low, make it like nighttime, like it's time to wind down, time to prepare for bed. Even taking a shower, like a warm shower in the dark, really good for regulation. Yeah, phones, TV, tablets, put them away.
Yeah, I've been good. I have been good about that. I got some RGB lights that are in the bathroom, like where the shower, the light's a little bit down. I got the ones that shoot out of the water. So like you basically don't need that harsh light that when you come in there and relax. And I think again, also very primal, right? Like our body knows when it's dark, it's time to, like, we're not nocturnal. It's time to wrap up. And when you wake up, the brighter it is, the more you're like, I left the curtains open and now I woke up an hour earlier because the sun was like, yo, time to get up. Also very primal, right? That's what it's the sun and the moon are for.
Very primal, completely. Like, and right, like we don't need to overcomplicate it, right?
No.
Like we already know, like the sun comes up, time to get up. It's going down, time to wind down. And in a lot of different cultures too, like, when I lived in Bali, like it's nighttime and they're going to bed. Like nobody's really staying up and they're getting up early. But yeah, so to definitely help with sleep, which like is pivotal to well-being, like you
Yeah.
have to sleep well. You have to get good quality. Definitely getting that morning sunlight within like 30 minutes of waking, maybe an hour of waking, just go out and like be out there for a few minutes. I have a balcony. I like will brush my teeth like on the balcony, just looking around. And then for evening, going on an evening walk, going for a walk after dinner, or right before dinner, depending on time of year. And again, like communicating to your body, okay, we're preparing for wind down, we're preparing for bed. And then and walking after meals too is really good for blood sugar, for nervous system regulation, for digestion. Trying to get some kind of movement in after you eat is going to help a ton.
As tempted as it is for the big meal to fall down and take a nap, I do admit it does feel nice when you're just like eating, like, okay, now just go walk or something. I feel like it feels more balanced and I never really knew why.
Yeah.
And just like also like eating too much and you pass out, you're always kind of like, oh, that was nice, but
yeah. Oh, I know. Like we've all been there of like, okay, we've had the big pizza.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, okay, time to crash.
That's the
Time to,
itis.
like,
It's called the itis, right? Is that the science term for it?
the itis. Yeah, and even paying attention to how you feel after certain foods too. Like you feel very different after having the pizza as you feel after having maybe the salmon and the vegetables and the quinoa.
Yeah.
Like they're two very different feelings.
Oh man. Yeah.
Everything is affecting your body all the time and like all in a different way. And you can actually change your mind and your nervous system every 4 hours based off of the food that you're eating. So even like, for anybody who might have experienced like being hangry, you can think of like if you haven't eaten for a while, you're like, I don't feel good. feel really angry. I feel like I could pass out. Like, your nervous system is entering into survival. Or, maybe if you just had like for breakfast, maybe you had a coffee and you had a donut, you're probably going to crash right after that and not really you might feel energized for a little bit because of the sugar and the cortisol that came from it, but then you're going to have that crash, like for sure.
Yes.
And
Anybody who
again,
saw Fast and the Furious movies, they understand. You can hit the NOS, you're going to go fast for a little bit, but then the car's going to got to disperse after that.
Totally. I watched like all of those movies. I loved them.
So understand it. Well, Mel, as I knew, this hour was going to fly by, and it's just like, but I'd like to say this isn't the last time. This is the first time, and we have definitely could put a to be continued on the end of this. But before we do wrap up here, I just wanted to give you an opportunity to like address our audience, which is also your audience because you're very familiar with them, of just like what they should take away from this, and then where they can find you if they want to dig a little deeper.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, having been in the community for 5 years and interacting with all of the, different IT pros, like I want to be able to share this knowledge and be able to help, not just IT professionals, but literally anyone, just to share the knowledge that your nervous system is truly impacting your entire well-being. And I can attest to nervous system regulation, really being able to reshape your entire life and your whole health and your well-being and your like joy for life again. It is a powerful, powerful tool. So for anybody that might have any questions or wanting to like deeper dive into this information, feel free to connect with me on Instagram. Like you mentioned, you can find me at Well By Mel. Well _ by Mel. Had to get creative with the handle. And then I'm also working on creating a nervous system reset program to help people practice more of these tools every day, because your nervous system is like a muscle that you have to keep on putting the reps in at the gym. You have to work on it every day and put in the reps in order for it to reshape and in order for your overall health and well-being to change. And I think that one other thing that I'll leave people with is I think that living in a world of so much stimulation and, anxiety and exhaustion, it's very common for people to feel like, oh, this is just who I am. Like I'm just a anxious human, or I'm just a low energy, or I'm depressed. Maybe it's just who I am. I want people to know that it's not who you are. It's not a personality trait. It is the state of your nervous system. And everything is possible to change and to heal. I am living proof of that. I had a ton of health issues going, and now after reshaping, I have alleviated so much of that. So to know that for anybody who is struggling and having a hard time, it's not just who you are, and that healing and change is very possible. So for any way that I can support anyone, again, feel free to connect with me on Instagram.
That's awesome, and I love it. And I know we're starting off Mental Health Awareness Month in May with a great message like this. But as you know, this goes beyond May, and you're given the tools to May could be the launching point to a whole new you. So Mel, thanks so much for sharing with I'm going to say our audience, because you're a part of this audience, our IT pros and tech vendor friends. And we definitely look forward to hearing more from you for sure, but I highly suggest find her on IGs. I know you're not into the socials, but just do it. Go take a look, and it's worth it. And you can actually see the journey that you went on, and it's really inspiring. So thanks for sharing your journey with us. Yes, and we'll talk soon.
Thank you so much for having me. Loved having our conversation and can't wait for part 2.
Yes, for sure. All right, Mel, let's talk to you soon.
Okay, talk to you later.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.